Welcome back again, everyone. It's Dina Calmette here. And before I jump into the broadcast, I just wanted to give a shout out to all of those that prayed for my husband while he was in the hospital. Thank you so much. He is feeling much better and he is at home with me. So thank you so much. God is just amazing. And with that said, let's jump into the show. And let's talk about Russia today first. It is being reported that the Kremlin stated on Monday that tanks Britain plans to send to Ukraine will burn, warning the West that supplying a new round of more advanced weapons to Ukraine would not change the outcome of the war. Britain said on Saturday that it would send 14 of its Challenger 2 main battle tanks as well as other advanced artillery support in the coming weeks. The Kremlin spokesman, Dmitry Peskov, said that they are using this country, Ukraine, as a tool to achieve their anti-Russian goals. These tanks are burning and will burn just like the rest. Peskov said that the new supplies from countries like Britain and Poland would not change the situation on the ground, but were an attempt to draw out the conflict, which he said would ultimately bring more troubles on Ukraine. Putin said in an interview aired on Sunday that the military operation in Ukraine has gained positive momentum, and he hoped that his soldiers would deliver more wins after Russia claimed control of the eastern Ukrainian salt mining city of Soledar. The Kremlin chief said that the West is both aggressive and arrogant, and has said that Russia will use all available means to protect itself and its people against any enemy. The Polish Prime Minister, in the meantime, has once again reiterated his appeal to the German authorities to supply battle tanks to the Ukrainian armed forces, warning that a Russian victory in the conflict could lead to a third world war. From the German capital, the Polish Prime Minister has demanded from the German authorities decisive actions to allow the delivery of all types of weapons to Ukraine in the context of a war that is now approaching its 11th month of activity without any sign of a peace agreement. He asserted that if we have been investing for years in heavy war equipment and tanks, they should not stay for us in warehouses, but be put in the hands of the defenders of Europe. Now, in addition to that, the NATO chief has promised more Western arms for Ukraine. Mr. Stoltenberg's comments show that a new course of action could be considered by NATO. He stated that the recent pledges for heavy warfare equipment are important, and I expect more in the near future. We are in a decisive phase of the war. Therefore, it is important that we provide Ukraine with the weapons it needs to win. Mr. Stoltenberg said that the Russian President Putin had made a mistake by attacking Ukraine and overestimated the strength of his own armed forces. He said that we see their missteps, their lack of morale, their leadership problems, and their poor equipment. But the Russians have demonstrated that they are prepared to take heavy losses to achieve their goals. Now, with that said, a Putin ally has issued a stark warning over the possibility of a nuclear war in Europe. Viktor Medvedchuk, an ally of the Russian president, suggested that Ukraine's European allies could be supporting Kyiv, bringing this conflict closer to home. He said that it is no longer Europe that teaches Ukraine politics, but Ukraine teaches Europe how to achieve economic decline and poverty with the help of policy of hatred. And if Europe continues this policy, it will be dragged into a war, possibly into a nuclear one. He went on to state that there are only two ways out of this war. One, to slide into a world war and a nuclear conflict, or to start the process of détente again, for which it is necessary to take into account the interests of all parties. But for this, it is necessary to recognize politically that Russia has interests, that they must be taken into account in the construction of a new détente. And most importantly, play honestly. Do not deceive anyone. Do not let in fog, and do not try to make money on someone else's blood. But if the world political system is not capable of elementary decency, blinded by pride and its own mercantile interests, then even a more difficult conflict times awaits us. Now, with that said, the Croatian president spoke out and said that he wouldn't be a slave to America. The Croatian president has hit out at the U.S. and NATO involvement in the Ukrainian war, claiming that it's a proxy war with the potential to end in chaos. He described some aspects of Western involvement as absurd and claimed that we will not achieve anything with NATO and U.S. involvement. He claimed that the involvement had initiated a proxy war, a conflict in which countries try to increase their power without direct involvement. He said that, however, there is no ultimate goal. If there is no plan, then everything will end like it did in Afghanistan. He also stated that the plan cannot be to remove Putin. The plan cannot be in sanctions. Sanctions are absurd, he said. We will not achieve anything with their help. In the meantime, the U.S. military's new expanded combat training of Ukrainian forces began in Germany on Sunday, with the goal of getting a battalion of about 500 troops back on the battlefield to fight the Russians in the next 5 to 8 weeks. But the U.S. top general said that he wants to make sure that the training is on track and whether anything else is needed, and also ensure that it will line up with the equipment deliveries. Now, with all of that said, Russia has built the first nuclear warheads for its Poseidon super torpedoes, stating that they are practically indestructible. A defense source told state news agency TASS that the first Poseidon ammunition loads have been manufactured, and the Belgorod submarine will receive them in the near future. The Poseidon project was unveiled by Putin in 2018, with the Russian president hailing it as a fundamentally new strategic nuclear weapon complete with its own nuclear power source. He stressed that they are very low noise and are practically indestructible for the enemy. He said that there is no weapon that can counter them in the world today. So definitely some very interesting developments concerning Russia. And as always, I will continue to keep you updated. But I would like to move on and talk about China just briefly. It has been reported that 4 Chinese military aircraft and several vessels were detected near Taiwan early Monday morning. Taiwan's armed forces have monitored the situation and tasked the CAP aircraft, Navy vessels, and land-based missile systems to respond to these activities. The Defense Ministry added that 2 of the detected aircraft, described as J-16 jets, had entered Taiwan's air defense identification zone. Now, Monday's provocation marked merely the latest installment of what has been a daily occurrence for Taiwan. And on Wednesday, China renewed its threats to attack Taiwan and warned that foreign politicians who interact with the self-governing island are playing with fire. A spokesperson for China's Taiwan Affairs Office said that the country was recommitted in the new year to safeguarding sovereignty and territorial integrity and smashing plots for Taiwan's independence. The spokesperson went on to finally state that the malicious support for Taiwan independence among anti-China elements in a few foreign countries are a deliberate provocation. Now, in addition to that, the Chinese Navy has carried out a series of confrontational drills in the South China Sea, according to the state media. The Chinese Navy's Shandong Aircraft Carrier Group conducted realistic combat-oriented confrontational exercises in the South China Sea. During the drills, which simulated hostile aircraft attacks, the J-15 fighter jets took off from the Shandong and carried out interception training. The carrier group also practiced attack and defense on the surface, in the air, and underwater. The report came as U.S. Navy said its Nimitz carrier strike group was also carrying out exercise in the South China Sea as part of its routine operations in the Indo-Pacific. Now, speaking of exercises, South Africa will next month go ahead with naval exercises off its eastern coast with Russian and Chinese warships in a decision that could further strain its relationship with some of its biggest trading partners. Operation Mosey, which means smoke, will take place from February 17th to February 26th. South Africa's reluctance to condemn Russia's invasion of Ukraine and its decision to allow sanctioned Russian vessels to dock at its ports have already ramped up tensions with the U.S., the UK, and the European Union. Now, with that said, I would like to add that Iran will receive Russian fighter jets by March in the latest sign of growing military ties. Iranian media on Sunday reported that Iran expects to take delivery of 24 Russian Sukhoi Su-35 fighter jets by the end of March. Tasman said that the Su-35 will be Iran's first foreign acquisition of fighters since it purchased a few MiG-29s from Russia in the 1990s. Finally, it reports that Iran's military alliance with Russia has boistered Ukrainian demands on Israel to match its humanitarian aid operation with military assistance. Ukraine insists that Iran's belligerent position towards Israel is enough reason for Jerusalem to change its policy on this front. However, there are fears. On Wednesday, a Ukrainian foreign minister described Israel as a difficult country during a press briefing in which he speculated on Israeli-Russian ties. He said that Iran has become an open Russian ally and directed towards Israel that must bring us closer together. Now, speaking of Israel, the Biden administration says that an Israeli proposal to end the ban on Jewish prayer at the Temple Mount in Jerusalem would be an unacceptable.
So you see, discernment is signs of the time. So we're going to get right into it. So let's give our praise and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Avashai. Double honor to the apostle, budget, the elder, great millstone. Show them one to the hope of elect. As you see, the signs, the times that we are in. Russia said British tanks will burden Putin allies. War of nuclear war, Ukraine defense may lead to World War III. You know. So right. So the title is Discern the Times. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. This ain't gonna be too long. We're just gonna get right into the point. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 5. It says, for every battle of the war is with confusion noise, and garment rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fury of fire. Right? It said this shall be burning a fury of fire. Let's go to Isaiah 34, verse 4. No, Isaiah 34, verse 1. It said, come near, you nations, to hear, and hearken, you peoples, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world, and all things that come forth of it. You see it, say right here, God wrath against nation. Verse 2, for the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury is upon all their armies. He had destroyed them, he had delivered them to the slaughter. Right? He had delivered them to the slaughter. Verse 3, for the slain also should be cast out, and the stank should come up out of their carcass, and the mountains should be melted with blood. Right? Melt with blood. Verse 4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be devoured, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all the hosts shall fall down as a leaf falling off the fig, and the falling as a falling of the fig from the fig tree. In verse 5, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Adumia, upon the people of my curse, to judgment. Isaiah 34, verse 8, for it's the day of the Lord, vengeance, and a year of recompense for the congregation of Zion. All right. What else I get? What else? Go to Proverbs 21, verse 1. It says the king's heart in the land. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As a river of water, he turneth it whatsoever his will. Right? Whatsoever his will. Verse 2, every way of man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord pour the heart. Well, upon the heart. So I can remember, yeah. But the Lord upon the heart. Let me look up that one. Yeah, hold on for 1 minute. What's that? Let's go to, let me see. Look at this. Yeah, I see. Yeah. All right. Oh, all right, let's read it again. That's the Isaiah. Ponder. Oh, I said pour. What that word? What did it say? To wait in mind, appear. To think about. Look at the other one. I'm not trying to be too long. Third person. Okay, let's forget. Okay, I see. Isaiah 28, verse 1. Isaiah chapter 21. Hold on. I said Isaiah. Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1. It said the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the river of water, he turneth it whatsoever his will. Verse 2. Every way of man is right in his own eyes, but the Lord ponder the heart. Right? Ponder the heart. What's the Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 1. Jeremiah 51, verse 1. It said, Thou said the Lord, behold, I am raised. Hold on. Thou said the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon, against them that dwell in the midst of them. They raise up against me a destroying wind, right? A destroying wind. I was sent unto Babylon. Then that she fan her, and she empty her land for the day of trouble. Thou shalt be against her round about. Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon being the golden cup in the Lord's hand, made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen, and the store hollow for her take plain for her pain, for it so be. She may be healed, right? She may be healed. We have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one unto his own country, for her judgment is reached up to heaven, and lift up even to the sky. Lift it up to the sky. Joel chapter 1, verse 15. Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and destruction from the Almighty shall it come, right? Shall it come. Joel chapter 1, verse 15. Alas, for the day of the Lord is at hand, and destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Right, shall it come. Jeremiah 3, verse 11. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 11. Assemble yourself and come, all you heathens, and gather yourself together round about. Thou cause our mighty one to come down, O Lord. Let the heathens be weak, and come up to the valley of the Jehoshaphat, for there will I set to judge all the heathens round about. Put you in the sickle of, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fatness overflow, for the wicked is great. Multitudes of the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near. In the valley of decision, right? It's near in the valley of decision. Verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkness, and the stars shall withdraw thy shine. Right, the stars shall start. Let me see what else I got. Go to Matthew chapter 16. Told myself I won't be too long, but like Matthew 16, verse 3. In the morning it will be far wetter today, for the sky is red. Lord, O you hypocrite, if you discern the face of the sky, can you not discern the signs of the time? Right, you could discern the face of the sky, but can you discern the signs of the time? That's what that Matthew 16, verse 4. You wicked and adulterous generation, seek after the sign. There should no sign been given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah, and he left and depart, right? So it says there shall no sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah. All right, let's move on. Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 3. And he sat upon a mountain, Oliver and disciples came unto him. Privately said, Tell us, what should those things be, and what should the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Verse 4. And Yahweh shall answer and say unto them, Take heed no man deceive you, for me shall come in my name, said Mashiach, and deceive many. You should hear of wars, rumors of wars. See that be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there should be famine, and pestilence, earthquake in divers places, and all the beginning of sorrows, right? All the beginning of sorrow. Matthew 24, verse 42. Watch it therefore, for you know not what hour your Lord does come, right? Watch. Verse 44, therefore be you also ready, for ensure at the hour you think not, the Son of Man come. Right, watch. Was that Matthew 24, verse 30, verse 36, but of that day and hour no man know, no not the angel of heaven, but my Father only. Verse 37, but as the day of Noah was, so shall also coming of the Son of Man be, right? Also coming of the Son of Man be. Verse 38, for as the day that was before the flood, they was eating and drinking, marriage and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered unto the ark. Verse 39, they know not until the flood came, and took them all away, so shall also coming of the Son of Man be. Right? Also coming of the Son of Man. What else? Luke chapter 12. I always get into this. How much? Okay. Luke 12, verse. What's that? 49. Yeah, Luke 12, verse 49. I come to set fire on earth, but it will. Hold on. What it will? Messing up. Luke 12, verse 49. I come to set fire on earth, and what will it be already kindled? Right? Be already kindled. Verse 50. Verse 50. Verse 51. Suppose you that I come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. For from hereforth there should be 5 in one house, divided 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Luke 12, verse 56. You hypocrite! You could discern the face of the sky, of the earth, but how it that you do not discern this time, right? This time. You could discern the face of the sky, but how do you not discern this time, right? This time. What else? Let's go to Luke, close out scripture 21, verse 34. Luke 21, verse 34. What else? This bit. Let's go to Luke 21, verse 29. And he spoke unto them a parable. Behold, a fig tree, and all those trees, verse 30. When they now shoot forth, yet see and know of yourself that the summer is now not at hand. Right, not at hand. Verse 31. So likewise, we should see those things come to pass. Know that the kingdom of the Most High is not at hand. Luke 21, verse 34. And take heed to yourself, that any time your heart be overcharged with surfing and drinking and caring of this life, and so that day come upon you unaware, for the snare shall come. So it come on all that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Verse 36, watch you therefore, and pray always that you may be accounted worthy to escape all those things should come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. Right? So, what's that? Luke 21, verse 35, it say, watch you therefore and pray always. So, yeah. Right. I got a couple more scripture I thought I was going, but what else? go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 3. It say, blessed he that read it, hear the word of this prophecy, and keep those things which are rooted therein. For the time is at hand. Right? For the time is at hand. Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right? The third woe coming quick. Revelation 11, verse 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right, right. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe coming quick. Right, so that should be it. So I think it's it. I think that should be it. So hey, yeah. So you see the time that we are in. People have no idea what's going on, man. The time we are in, the World War I, II, and III. People's through out here. So I'm gonna close it out right there, so we can see it be it. So yeah, it's time to seek the Lord. Seek the Lord while he may be found, and call upon him while he is near. I don't have any more scriptures, do I? No, I don't. So we in some serious times. I thought I had a little bit more, but I don't. Let me close out. So we're going to give all praise and honor glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Abishai, down honor to the Apostle Brother, to Elder Great Millstone, shout out one to the Hope Black, shout out one.